Hey everybody, and we're back. Let's get right into this. Chapter 2-3. Here we go. So we're moving along, aren't we? Like I said before, I think it's gonna be maybe a 30 video thingamajiggy. Alright, so I see. Yeah, Lewis just left. So I'm just gonna go ahead and kind of rearrange my inventory as best as I can. May as well. There's gonna be some stuff that I'm gonna pick up. So I was just thinking the other day, and this is just really silly, but like, I guess I was one of those people, and I guess to some extent I still am, one of those people that is like, I get easily scared of silly things. Like, I never, for example, and I know this is gonna sound way out of left field, but like, I know that although I never played Metroid as a kid, you know, the original Nintendo Metroid, I'm sure that it would have scared the crap out of me. Like, that kind of thing, you know? And this is where it gets really ridiculous. I don't know if you guys ever, if you guys were born in the 80s and you had a Nintendo, you probably had this game. Sesame Street? I think it's Sesame Street 1, 2, 3, something like that. And good game. I mean, it teaches kids about numbers and shapes and stuff like that. And I love the game. But the only thing was that there was this part with like some number, you know, a number game that you played, and then there was this moon at the top of the screen, and he was just like staring at what you were doing, which is fine. But then, and there was nothing intrinsically wrong with that, but like, if you ever got an answer wrong, the like scariest music would play. I'm like, are they serious here? I mean, Jesus Christ. And I honestly, I had a bit of like, I was just kind of questioning myself here. I'm like, oh my god, how could I be so scared of something so silly? But apparently everybody was scared of this. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, definitely look up, you know, Sesame Street 1, 2, 3, or I think it's ABC 1, 2, 3, something like that. I don't know if there were like two different games, but look it up and look up the moon, or look up like scary sounds, whatever. I mean, I should like establish a Sesame Street 1, 2, 3 traumatized kids group on like Google Plus or something like that, like a support group. But I mean, I guess it did the trick. It provided really good incentive for you to not get the answer wrong. So I don't know. So what we have here, we're faced with a little fork in the road, quite literally. And what I'm actually gonna do, I'm gonna try to run through both with this girl in tow. I don't think it would be so bad if it was just Leon by himself. So this side is the one with El Gigante. So I'm just trying to figure out here where he's gonna appear. I don't think he gives you much warning. So we're just gonna go slowly, and there he is, the man of the hour. So very obviously I can drop a boulder on him, which I have to admit I failed right there. So we're just gonna try to go through these doors. I'm going through here because I wanted to get, oh shit. Well, I'm kind of glad he grabbed Leon and not Ashley. So let's go ahead and stab him. But I want to kill this dude because there is a jewel in this area that I want to get. So I'm gonna I don't have much of a choice. I'm gonna have to kill him. Oh boy. Oh my gosh. I probably should have healed Ashley at this point. Whoops. Kind of failing that. Oh, oh my god. It wasn't even him that killed her. It was me. I shot her by mistake. Oh my god. See, that's what I mean. Sometimes she just doesn't duck quickly enough and she will get you murdered or your mission failed. So that was a bit of a fail. I'm going to try this again because I'm not going to give up. I still want the jewel in this area. And it's really not that bad. And honestly, I would have to say if it's like your first time through this game, I would honestly say take your chances on this side. So, I have no idea how to... Oh, there you go. I don't know if I dropped a boulder on her face. I think I dropped... oh my god, I just dropped a boulder on her. Okay, well, she's gonna point out the boulder anyway. And she's dead again. I like the Shakespearean look of agony. You know, this expression, his bodily language. No! So, if I fail again, I'm just gonna edit it out and spare you guys that. But, I mean, if you're gonna point out the boulder, get the F out of the way. No, just stand there. Hey, look, there's a boulder you can use. Let me stand right underneath this so I can show you exactly where it is. Thank you, Ashley. Useful as always. Although at least, like, if you're playing with her as, you know, dressed in armor, makes it a lot easier because, you know, you can just let El Gigante pick her up and he can't hurt her. So that's always useful too. But what's the fun in that? Like a challenge, you know? So we're gonna get this guy this time. I got a good feeling about this. Okay, so we kind of stunned him here, which is good. Still, I'm amazed at Leon just kind of taking on this guy with a knife. Just some guns and a knife. Okay, he's... I don't know if it's just me. They might have made him a little easier to defeat. I guess because Ashley's here and it's kind of a very cramped environment. So I think he's still alive, but that's it. Oh, he died. Okay, yeah, he definitely was easier. I guess the only thing is you have to be careful about him not landing on Ashley. I think that can happen. Actually, I read that somewhere. So this is what I was after, which was purple gem. I can put it in. I can put it in something. I think it's the mask, face mask, something like that. So yeah, I have the old key, which will be sufficient to get to the next area, but I'm feeling a little greedy, feeling a little ambitious, so we're just gonna go ahead. We're actually gonna go back. I'm actually gonna go back and go to the other area. So there you go. Yep. Thought about leaving, but I said, nope. Screw it. You only live once, right? Let's just do it. I don't know if that term is still used often, but see, the thing is, I don't think it's a bad term. I really don't think it's like a bad expression. It's just like, you know, you just say, it's just a way of telling people, go for it. Just do it. Go for it, you know? It's just like, and that's the kind of a life lesson that I'm still trying to learn. Sometimes I've hesitated in doing things mainly because I was just like, oh, you know, what if this, what if that, what if this goes wrong, what if that goes wrong? And now I'm just like, you know what, try it, and if it doesn't work, at least I can say I tried it, you know, with people, with you know, with different aspects of my life. So that's definitely a saying I do try to live by. Okay, so we're gonna go this way. Now this way, it's a little different. There's gonna be a ton of ganados. So, but it's a little more controlled because you can take it piecemeal, sort of. You know, you can take on groups of enemies. So so this area has its pros. I mean, both areas have their pros and their cons. It just depends on what you're comfortable with. I guess from the first time, I would honestly not recommend somebody going through both, unless you have a surplus of ammo somehow, which I know. The very first time I played this game, I never did. I got up to a point in the game, it's a little later than this, I'm gonna say beginning of Act 3, which we're almost up to, believe it or not, where I was just like, I don't know how on earth I'm supposed to make it through all of this with the little ammo that I actually have, and it's just like, things get harder. Like, the pacing in this game I think is really good. But But I did definitely feel some tense moments where I was just like, I don't know how I'm gonna make it through this. I don't know. I mean, I guess the big saving grace is that Leon has a knife, so that does help things. So I mean, one strategy, and in retrospect, I could have employed this a little more, was like if I knock down an enemy and an enemy's on the ground, instead of shooting him or her some more, I could stab them. So you see me use that tactic sometimes, especially if it's like one enemy that I have to deal with. There's really no point in wasting bullets while they are on the ground. And there, I don't know if that's a she or he, but well, they're dead, so it really doesn't matter, does it? So, yeah, I do have to say, next time, yeah, I forgot to mention this before, but like, I did notice as amazing as this game looks, and it does look great, it really does, although it's very, it looks great considering it's a dreary game. I mean, you're just in some remote village. I mean, they do change up the settings every once in a while. You'll go, it won't just be in a village, it'll be in different places, but it's still rather dreary. It's not exactly colorful, but what horror game is, right? But I do have to say that, despite the fact that the graphics do look good, the lip syncing in the game is really bad. And I'll point that out the next time I have one of those cutscenes where Leon is talking to Hunnigan. Because it's really... I was actually just kind of amazed considering this is I don't know if other 2004 games were sort of like that. Maybe they were. I don't know. Perhaps they were. Hi. So I'm just going to have Ashley hide in here. It's the best thing you can do. Just get her out of your way. And that's why I think this area might be good for some people, because you don't have Ashley dying in front of you like she did in the other room for me. So reload this. And there goes the lady. Well, life is interesting. Life is funny, isn't it? I feel like, don't you ever feel like you have, as a person with like varied interests, and most of us have varied, more than one thing that we're interested in, at least I would hope. I always kind of wonder, like, if I meet someone and they just say, oh, I'm only interested in this thing and that's it, like whatever it is, and I'm just kind of like, really, won't you get tired of that? But like me, for example, I mean, video games, that's a big hobby of mine. That is the main thing that I do, but it's not the only thing that I do. Like, I also enjoy listening to trance music, which always makes me chuckle, because like trance music, it's always an effort that I have to make to try to explain to someone why I like trance music. It's like, well, then if I want to get smart with them, then I'll be like, well, why do you like rock music, or why do you like, country music or rap or whatever like that? I mean, it's not that I don't like those genres, it's just that I like trance the most. But I definitely have my days where I listen to rock and video game music, of course. So we have two chainsaw ladies here, and this is very tense, so I'm getting the F out of here, getting to higher ground. I think there was a guy next to me, I don't know why I didn't see him. Okay, there you go. I'm just gonna take him on up here, because I'm not even gonna deal with it. Hello. This is a circular area, so this is definitely making me nervous. And, oh my god. Thank you for that. I like how his outfit's not even singed. I'm definitely running scared here. The last thing I want to do is have one of these chainsaw ladies just run up, especially behind me. And I'm just completely not expecting it. They can take a beating, that's for sure. That is for sure. Okay, so we'll just keep wailing on her. And there's the other chainsaw lady, but thankfully her sister, her lesbian lover, whoever that is dead. So that makes things a lot easier. So anyway, back to trance. And I don't know how many of you guys listen to trance, but it's probably gonna be the same thing for you guys. It's always a situation. If I'm dealing with someone like a friend of mine or potential, someone I'm seeing, and they're open-minded, they're like, oh, what kind of music do you like? And I say, oh, well, I like everything, but my favorite is trance. My favorite type of music is trance. And so they're like, oh, it's either what is trance, or they say, okay, or the favorite thing to say is, oh, that's like techno, right? I mean, they're related, but there are some distinct differences. But anyway, for the sake of that, because I know who my audience is, like I know who I'm speaking to, so I just say, yeah, it's like techno. And so if they're really in the open-minded spirit, I guess I should say, they'll say, oh, let me listen to it. I just want to see what it's like, which I like. I mean, I appreciate that. Everybody likes that. Everybody likes when people at least express curiosity, like curiosity about your interest. They don't have to like it, but if they're curious about it, that really goes a long way. Oh, and by the way, here, this map is unbelievably confusing. This treasure, I learned, is actually in the other room, but right here, because of the way the map looks, I'm just going to search around for a little bit, so please bear with me as I discuss something very important. So they say, okay, well, let me listen to a song. So I say, okay, so then here I am, I'm going through like, okay, which song should they listen to, which is the best one? So I have a few kind of in my catalog. And because I like a lot of trance music, but I know that there's just particular trance songs, even though I like them a lot, I would never sort of put anybody through listening to them, because I know trance it's a special thing. You have to really be in the mood to listen to it, and even so, some people will just never be in the mood to listen to it. They could say it's nice or whatever, but they're never gonna really like it the way I do, and the way other like trance fans do. And I should also mention here that I prefer older trance, like trance from the 90s. I don't really like what's going on these days. It's a little more mainstream for me. The risk of sounding hipster, but it's true. It's just a little more bland for my taste. But anyway, so I pick a song and I say, okay, here it is. So it starts. And the thing about trance is that it's got a different structure than like pop songs, for example. Well, typical pop song is 3-4 minutes long. Starts with the lyrics straight away. You have the verses, you have the chorus, back to the verse, you have a bridge, and blah 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 blah, like whatever. Like I know very basic music terminology, and that's it. But trance is very different. Half of the time, trance doesn't even have any lyrics at all, or maybe it just has someone saying a random word, which you gotta love some of the words that they use for their songs. And I was, so there's that, and the structure of the song is such that it's always like you kind of have a few sort of minutes. Trance songs on average are like, I don't know about average, but a usual trance song is like 7 minutes long, 8 minutes long. The really long ones are like 11 minutes, because it takes a while for it to build up. You have to build into something that's really going to push people to dance. So, and it takes some time. Sometimes you'll just hear a drum, and then you hear maybe a clap, a cymbal, or hi-hat, and so on and so forth, just like, random instruments. And then eventually you'll get to a melody, if the trance song has melody. Some trance songs don't. So I always remember, like, I remember this one image on Facebook, because I'm like followed to some trance DJs on Facebook, and I'm like, oh my gosh, they know my pain. And it's just basically a picture of like a trance. So in one panel, it's like a trance fan or an electronic music fan listening to a song, and then they're like, oh my god, this is like the best song ever. Then cuts to the same person. Now this time they're letting their non-trance fan friends listen to it, and they're at the radio, and they're just like, oh, I promise the best part's coming up. And I'm just like, oh my god, that is a trans fan's dilemma. It is. Because as a trans fan, I know that the game, I know that the music is building up. I know the basic structure of it. And that's, I get that idea. But for someone that's not familiar with the music, they wouldn't understand it. Like they wouldn't really like appreciate it. By the way, I had to cut some video out here about like 2-3 minutes because I just could not figure out where this treasure was. So I finally figured out. I had to look it up that it was in another room. So here we go. We're just back on our journey. But yeah, let me know if you guys like trance. We can get down. And I first got into trance because I was listening to a radio station that played some dance music, including trance, of course, and that's how I sort of got into it. And I used to listen to a radio program on there. They broadcasted from a nightclub, so directly from a nightclub, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's so awesome. I can't wait to go to a nightclub. And that was when I was 15 years old, and that was all those years ago. And I've been to a couple nightclubs since, but I've never been to a nightclub that actually, that actually does have electronic music. I mean, it will kind of have it, DJ will kind of mix a little bit in there, here and there, but doesn't, but it's mostly kind of popular music, and I understand why, but I definitely want to check out one when I get the chance. And I've always been sort of intimidated by, getting to a nightclub, traveling to it, and then coming back, because it's always, late at night, but now I'm just kind of like, gotta do it. Gotta, sort of scratch that off my bucket list. This guy actually ducked down, like that was gonna help. Wasn't even ducking down behind cover or anything like that, no. So yeah, I said in this game, I'm gonna try to, in this playthrough, synchronized fire dance there. Pretty sweet. It didn't even kill them. I had to shoot. I had to shoot most of them. Oh my god, you bitch. Is that all? Let's pick up all these goodies that I earned. I think this is the last area for this particular section. So not too bad. You just have to be careful with those two chainsaw wielding women, and then you're good. And then don't be like me and waste your time looking in the wrong area for the treasure. See, I'm still trying to find this stupid treasure. But I know now it's on this side. And I'm mentally kicking myself because I forgot a treasure on that boat ride before I started Act 2, I think it was. I could have gone back on the boat and there was another area I could have gone through and picked up some treasure. But I just forgot, and I just kept going, and it's too late to turn back at this point, obviously. Okay, there's another gem that I can add to this, what is it, headdress? No, it's, elegant mask. Excuse me, there you go. I think we're pretty much done with this area. Just gotta double check. But I think we're good. I think we're alright. We might just make it yet. Yep, this is it. This is the end, so get a little break here. And proceed on. I think we earned it. And of course the merchant is there, naturally. Let me see. How do I get to him? So I'm pretty glad that Leon has good balance. Just saying. I don't know, I would always have like trepidation walking over bridges like that narrow, somewhat narrow, and they don't even have any sort of like any, guardrails or anything like that. Not too safe.
Got a selection of What are you buying?
Do you have anything new? Well, not that I can tell if he has anything new. He's gonna have the same thing no matter what, because it's a replay.
Thank you.
Yeah, as far as I know, I don't think that ruby can be combined with anything, so I just went ahead and sold it. I'm just gonna pay a visit in here. And there's a few items I can take before we continue on. Just kind of checking the perimeter first, of course. Don't know why the merchant wouldn't be in here, but hey. So, I'm gonna go ahead and save. And we will pick this up right in the next video. Right where I'm leaving off here. Alright, until next time.